Chapter 4: The Mafia in the Citrus Empire, 1875 to 1882. 1875, Palermo Province. By 1875, Western Sicily had become one of the world's leading exporters of lemons and oranges. The area surrounding Palermo, known as the Conca d'Oro, contained thousands of acres of citrus orchards. Demand from Britain, France, Germany, and the United States continued to increase because citrus fruit had commercial value and was widely recognized as a source of vitamin C for sailors on long voyages. Unlike wheat, citrus required years of investment before trees became productive. Orchards also depended on expensive irrigation systems, walls, storage buildings, and reliable transportation to Palermo's port. These conditions made citrus production an attractive target for organized crime. Control of labor. By the late 1870s, mafia groups also expanded their influence over agricultural labor. They helped determine which workers received seasonal employment, which contractors supplied harvesting crews, who transported produce to market, and which businesses received commercial opportunities. It was this that allowed mafia leaders to reward supporters while also isolating their competitors. And control over employment became yet another source of their power. The role of violence. Despite its growing economic influence, the mafia remained willing to use violence. Murders occurred primarily over control of territory, disputes involving business agreements, informants, challenges to local authority. However, this violence was generally selective. After all, public attention increased the risk of government intervention. Most mafia leaders, because of this, preferred intimidation and reputation to open conflict. Municipal politics. Economic influence soon translated into political influence. In several municipalities around Palermo, mafia leaders established relationships with local council members, tax officials, police officers, judges, and wealthy landowners. These relationships did not always involve direct corruption. Often, they consisted of mutual favors. Politicians gained neighborhood support during elections, while mafia leaders gained access to lucrative contracts, licenses, and advance warning of investigations. The first identifiable bosses. By the late 1870s, Italian police reports began identifying individual mafia leaders in western Sicily. Most exercised authority over limited geographic areas rather than the entire island. And it was this influence that was vital, as it rested on family relationships, economic control, political connections, and their ability to organize armed supporters. The modern concept of a single boss of bosses did not yet exist. Power remained local. Leopoldo Franchetti's conclusions. After completing his research, Leopoldo Franchetti argued that the mafia functioned as a private system of authority competing with the state. According to Franchetti, violence alone did not define the mafia. Its greatest strength came from control and protection. Economic dependence created long-term influence. Weak government institutions allowed this system to survive. His conclusions continue to influence modern scholarship. International trade. During this period, Palermo's port became increasingly important. Thousands of tons of citrus fruit left Sicily each year. Merchants exported products to a wide variety of cities across the globe: London, Marseille, Hamburg, New York, New Orleans. The expansion of international trade created new opportunities for merchants, shipping companies, and criminal organizations alike. Money generated in the citrus trade financed broader commercial influence throughout western Sicily. Toward international expansion. By 1882, the Sicilian Mafia had established itself as a stable, regional institution. Its influence extended beyond agriculture into commercial transport, wholesale markets, labor management, municipal politics, as well as local elections. At the same time, increasing numbers of Sicilians began leaving the island for the United States. Economic hardship, limited land ownership, population growth, and the promise of higher wages encouraged migration. Most immigrants sought honest work. However, a small number of these immigrants would eventually carry mafia traditions overseas. The first major destination would not be New York, however. It would be New Orleans, Louisiana. Chapter 5. Immigration begins. Why Sicilians left their homeland, 1880 to 1884. 1880, Sicily. By 1880, Sicily's population had grown rapidly, but the island's economy had not kept pace. Most agricultural land remained concentrated in the hands of large landowners. Tenant farmers leased small plots under contracts that often left them heavily indebted after poor harvests. And in many rural communities, seasonal unemployment was common. Wages remained low, and opportunities for land ownership were limited. For thousands of Sicilian families, emigration became an economic necessity rather than a choice. Population growth. Between 1861 and 1881, Sicily's population increased substantially. While agricultural production expanded, the amounts of land available to individual farming families did not. And this created intense competition for agricultural leases, seasonal employment, housing, credit, and even access to water. Many younger Sicilians realized that they were forever unlikely to inherit enough land to support a family, let alone themselves. Economic hardship. Several factors encouraged emigration. Low agricultural wages for one, high taxes imposed after Italian unification in the 1860s, periodic crop failures, limited industrial development, military conscription for young men, and overall unequal land distribution. These conditions affected ordinary laborers far more than wealthy landowners. Most immigrants were seeking employment, not escaping criminal prosecution. Steamship travel. During the late 19th century, improvements in steamship technology made transatlantic travel faster, safer, and less expensive than ever before. And major shipping companies established regular routes between Italian ports and the United States. Most immigrants departed from the following cities: Palermo, Sicily; Naples, Campania; and Genoa, Liguria. Depending on weather and the route, the crossing generally lasted 2 to 3 weeks. For many of these passengers, however, it was the first time they had left their village, and by extension, home. Why New Orleans? Although New York would later receive the largest number of Italian immigrants, New Orleans became one of the earliest major centers of Sicilian settlement in the United States. Several factors explain why. Direct commercial links already existed between Palermo and New Orleans through the citrus trade. Louisiana's port required large numbers of dock workers and laborers. Existing Sicilian communities in New Orleans encouraged their relatives to join them through chain migration. And employers recruited immigrant labor for agriculture, shipping, and produce markets. And once established, these communities attracted additional migrants from the same Sicilian towns and villages. Chain migration. Immigration rarely occurred in isolation. A single family member often traveled first, and after finding work, that person would send money home and then encourage the relatives to follow. This process, known as chain migration, helped entire villages establish communities overseas. and as a result, neighborhoods in New Orleans often contain residents originating from the same towns in western Sicily. These close social networks eased settlement, but also preserved local customs, dialects, and personal loyalties. Life in New Orleans. By the early 1880s, Sicilian immigrants found employment in fruit importing, produce markets, dock work, fishing, construction, small grocery stores, and street vending. Many eventually opened businesses of their own. Most immigrants pursued lawful employment and sought permanent economic stability. The overwhelming majority had no connection to organized crime. The minority that brought mafia traditions. Among the thousands of immigrants were a small number of individuals familiar with Sicily's systems of private protection, patronage, and local criminal networks. These individuals did not arrive with a centralized plan to establish an American Mafia. Instead, they adapted familiar methods of resolving disputes, protecting commercial interests, and building influence within immigrant communities. The organizations that later emerged in the United States developed gradually, shaped by local conditions, rather than direct control from Sicily. Commercial opportunity. New Orleans offered advantages unavailable in many American cities. Its port handled international cargo from Italy, from France, Spain, Central America, and the Caribbean. The city's wholesale produce business expanded rapidly during the 1880s. Merchants who controlled fruit imports gained access to profitable commercial networks linking Sicily with the Gulf Coast, and control of these businesses would later become a source of conflict among rival Sicilian factions, or the first American Mafia community. By 1884, New Orleans contained one of the largest Sicilian populations in the United States. Neighborhoods near the French market became centers of Sicilian commerce. Importers, wholesalers, laborers, and merchants worked together in closely connected business communities. And it was these commercial relationships that would help create the environment in which the first documented Sicilian criminal organizations in America would emerge. The conflict that followed would not begin with gambling or bootlegging. It would begin with the wholesale fruit trade.